Guys, what you're about to see is something that the mainstream media won't dare amplify. Retired four-star General Jack Keane, one of the most respected military minds in America, is issuing a warning that should shake every single one of us to our core. Iran is closer than ever to a nuclear weapon. China is helping them. And the clock is ticking. President Trump, he may be the only thing standing between peace and global chaos. We're going to roll the clip in just a moment, guys, but I want you to pay close attention to what General Keane says about Iran's nuclear ambitions, about China's backdoor support, and about how far apart we really are from any kind of deal. Then we're going to break it all down, guys. But first, if you support real leadership, if you support a strong America, hit that like button, guys. It helps this video reach more patriots just like you.
For Future Relations, we are joined by retired U.S. Army Four-Star General and Fox News strategic analyst Jack Keane. Sir, thank you for joining us on this Saturday morning. Greatly and always appreciate your insights. I just want to get your thoughts here as things are getting underway in overseas in Oman. Steve Witkoff is there, but the talks remain indirect. The president would like to see more direct talks, swifter action. Your thoughts on how things are going, if we can expect anything to come out of this?
Well, first of all, we did expect these talks to be direct, according to the United States position. The Iranians are reporting that they were indirect, and what that means for our viewers is that we were not in the same room with the Iranians. We worked through an intermediary. We stayed our position. They carried into the Iranians' room. They stayed their counter position. They carried that back out into our room. It's not in a way to do negotiations, obviously. So we'll get some clarification from the administration on what these talks really were about. And certainly the first talk is about what is the framework for discussion and what's the timeline. That's likely what this 2-hour session really entailed. But look, our positions are about as far apart as they can be. The reasons why the Iranians are actually talking, because the Supreme Leader did not want to engage in any discussion whatsoever, is because I think they've come to the conclusion that the president is dead serious about supporting an Israeli-led, U.S.-supported strike on Iran to take down their nuclear enterprise if they don't voluntarily dismantle it. So the Iranians have agreed to talks. Obviously, we've had the first session. And I think what their position is going to be is they're going to want to freeze the program in place, something that they have done in the past. And that would keep it close to the threshold capability within a couple of weeks of having a nuclear weapon. They may give up some enriched uranium. They may give up some centrifuges. They likely will not give up any of their secret sites and their deeply buried sites. But that's completely different from where the administration position is. They want them to voluntarily dismantle your entire program, give up the highly enriched uranium, give up the centrifuges, give up the facilities themselves, give up the missiles that are going to deliver these systems, and then, and this is key, anywhere, anytime inspections. In other words, independent inspectors determine where to go to look and verify what is taking place. The Iranians have never granted that, and that is one of the reasons why we're in this position today with the Iranians so close to a nuclear weapon, because they let inspectors go to X, but meanwhile at Y is a secret site, and they're continuing to develop nuclear weapons. Yeah. So we're far apart. We'll see if we can come together with this. I'm not optimistic here. Because the Iranians do not want to give up their program, Molly. That's the reality of this.
Yeah, I always like to talk to you and get your insights, but I'm rarely comforted. And in this particular case, it seems like these talks are about just getting to the real talk, to getting to the same table, you know, laying out parameters or whatever needs to be done to even begin real discussions. And so I'd like to get your thoughts on that, but also on what this means for our allies. As you mentioned, the president talking about military options being on the table, and Israel taking a lead in that regard.
Well, certainly, if the ultimatum that the president has issued, and we've heard him say it many, many times, if the Iranians do not come to a deal and an agreement to dismantle their program, then it will be done by force. And that, I believe the Iranians have internalized that. and accept that as a very real threat. It would likely be an Israeli-led air campaign supported by the United States. That would be the reality of what would take place here. But the allies in this have snapback sanctions that they can use against the Iranians over the next 60 days, impose tougher sanctions on them, and the Iranians know that. The other thing, though, is Iran is getting significant help. From February to March, the Chinese have increased purchasing Iranian oil, 80% increase in that purchase. So now China is purchasing Iranian oil, 90% of it. And that is helping to sustain Iran's economy. And obviously, the Trump administration has some leverage here with China to go after them with secondary and tertiary sanctions. There's third parties involved in this as well to shut that down. They're purchasing somewhere in the tune of about 1.6 million barrels of oil a day. When the maximum sanctions were in place, by comparison, Molly, it was somewhere in the neighborhood of 200 to 400,000 barrels of oil a day the Iranians were selling. And then their economy was completely in the tank as a result of it. We got to get back to that.
Guys, this is exactly why we needed Donald Trump back in the White House. Iran is playing games. They won't negotiate face-to-face. They're stalling. Why? Because they're racing toward a bomb, and they think that they can outlast weak leadership. But not this time. President Trump has drawn a line, and they know that he means it. General Keane made it crystal clear. These so-called talks aren't really talks at all. We're not even in the same room as Iran. That's not diplomacy, guys. That's cowardice. And Iran loves it. They've pulled this trick before. Freeze a little bit of activity, give up some scraps, while secretly pushing ahead on their deeply buried, heavily guarded sites. Guys, this is Deception 101. And what makes this even worse? China. The Chinese Communist Party is now buying 90% of Iran's oil. They ramped up their purchases 80% in just 1 month. That's not a business decision. That's a strategic alliance. China is funding Iran's path to a nuclear weapon. They are propping up a terrorist regime. Under Biden, this would have continued unchecked. But under Trump, Iran is now hearing something different. Military force is on the table. And Israel, our closest ally in the region, is ready to lead a preemptive strike with Trump's full support if necessary. And guys, let's not forget the most important piece. Anywhere, anytime inspections. That's what America is demanding. But Iran has never allowed it. They only show what they want us to see. Meanwhile, their real program is hidden, it's protected, and don't miss this, it is active. That's how they're still on the brink of going nuclear. Friends, this isn't just about Iran. This isn't just about China. This is about whether America stands strong or backs down. This is about whether evil regimes get emboldened or they're put in check. And this is about whether we as a nation will have the will to act. Now, guys, I want to hear from you. Should Trump greenlight a strike if Iran refuses to dismantle? Should China face sanctions for bankrolling this threat? Drop a comment down below, guys. Let's talk about this. This is very serious conversation. Be sure to subscribe, guys, if you haven't already. I'm bringing you the news that they won't cover from a conservative voice, guys, that you can trust. And if you want to help me keep this going, become a member of the channel, guys. Stand with truth. Stand with strength. This isn't just commentary, guys. This is a fight for our future. Let's get in there. Let's fight. I'll see you later with another update.